The tribute demand. The sky over New Geneva shimmered with unnatural light. Not from the sun, nor from Earth's satellites, but from the colossal hologram projected across the heavens. It towered above the cityscape like a god-demanding worship, its alien visage unmistakably regal, cruel, and alien. The being was tall, clad in gilded armor, its head crested with spines like a crown. Its voice reverberated not only through the air, but through every communication channel, from phones to satellites. People of Terra, it intoned, each word dripping with disdain. You stand before the will of the Galactic Empire, the rightful rulers of this galaxy. Your world has been evaluated, and you have been found lacking in tribute. Gasps and murmurs spread through the streets. Families huddled together, watching the sky as if the stars themselves had turned hostile. The alien continued, its voice echoing like thunder. From this day forth, you shall surrender 1/3 of your planet's resources, 1/10 of your population for servitude, and unconditional access to your orbital lanes. Refuse, and your world will be scourged as countless others have been before you. Resistance is futile. You will kneel, or you will burn. The projection flickered, then vanished, leaving only silence in its wake. But it was not the silence of peace, it was the silence before a storm. In the subterranean halls of the United Terran Council, the leaders of Earth gathered in a secure chamber. Flags of nations hung in the background, but they seemed smaller now, diminished in the face of a galactic ultimatum. President Helena Cross of the North American Federation slammed her palm against the table. This is nothing less than slavery. We cannot comply. Her counterpart, Chancellor Adebayo of the African Union, frowned deeply. You speak of defiance as though it is a choice. Did you not hear? This empire claims dominion over countless worlds. If they can subjugate civilizations far older and greater than ours, what chance does humanity stand? General Marcus Kane, commander of Earth's defense forces, leaned forward, his voice low but steady. The same chance we've always stood when death came knocking. Humanity does not yield. We adapt, we resist, and we overcome. A ripple of unease spread through the council chamber. The holographic projection had rattled even the bravest of them. But Kane's words carried weight, forged from centuries of history. Ambassador Liu Mei, representing the Pacific Coalition, broke the silence. We knew this day would come. Contact with alien traders a decade ago was only the beginning. We suspected the galaxy was not a friendly place. And so we prepared. Eyes turned toward her. Prepared how? Demanded Chancellor Adebayo. Liu allowed herself a faint, knowing smile. Do you think humanity has been idle? While politicians debated, engineers worked in secret. While empires watched us as prey, we sharpened our teeth. At her signal, the chamber's central holodeble flickered to life. Star maps lit up, revealing the asteroid belt, the dark side of the moon, and the hidden shipyards of Titan. One by one, icons appeared, massive warships cloaked in secrecy, their designs alien yet unmistakably human in spirit. The council erupted in disbelief. Impossible. These vessels were built from the bones of our past wars and the lessons of our survival, Liu interrupted. We scavenged alien wreckage when traders thought we were naive. We reverse-engineered technology we were never meant to touch. And we built an armada in the shadows of our own solar system. General Kane allowed himself a grim smile. The Empire demands tribute. Instead, they will find something else waiting. Across the world, the ultimatum sparked chaos. Some called for surrender, fearing extinction. Others rallied in defiance, waving banners that read "No tribute" and "No chains." News feeds exploded with speculation. Could Earth survive a galactic war? Could humanity possibly stand against an empire that had ruled the stars for millennia? In the underground hangars of Mars, mechanics and engineers worked around the clock, fitting the final armor plating on ships that the public did not yet know existed. In the hollowed-out asteroids of the belt, dreadnoughts stirred like giants waking from slumber. Their cannons gleamed cold and hungry. The greatest of them all rested in secret orbit beyond Titan, the Leviathan. A ship so vast it blotted out stars, forged from an asteroid core and armored with plates thicker than city walls. It was the pride of humanity's hidden war machine, a weapon never meant to be revealed unless extinction loomed. Now, extinction had arrived. Back in the council chamber, President Cross stood, her voice clear and unwavering. We will not kneel. History remembers the Persians, the Romans, the Mongols, the empires that demanded tribute from humanity. And history remembers how they fell. Her words ignited the room. Murmurs of fear turned to murmurs of resolve. Humanity had been given an ultimatum, but humanity had written its own destiny before, and it would again. General Kane placed both hands on the table, his eyes burning. Then it is decided. Let the Empire come. Let them bring their fleets. When they arrive, they will not find a frightened world. They will find an armada, and they will learn, as so many before them have learned. He paused, letting the silence hang heavy. That humanity does not pay tribute. Humanity fights. Shadows of the Armada. The Imperial flagship Dominus Rex drifted through the void like a cathedral of war. Its hull stretched for kilometers, bristling with gun batteries and lined with banners of the Galactic Empire. Inside its command deck, Grand Admiral Zyrel stood before a vast holoscreen depicting Sol System. His spined crest twitched with irritation. Pathetic, Zyrel muttered, watching Earth rotate slowly in the holographic display. A primitive death world, and yet they dare refuse tribute? Arrogance born of ignorance. Behind him, subcommanders hissed their agreement. Shall we dispatch the tribute collectors, Admiral? No, Zyrel snapped. His golden eyes glowed with malice. Dispatch the enforcers. 100 warships. Enough to remind them of their place, but not so many that the Emperor thinks we waste resources on insects. The order carried through the fleet like a spark. Engines roared to life. Dozens of destroyers and battlecruisers formed ranks behind the flagship, and the flotilla bent space itself as it leapt towards Sol. While the Empire advanced, humanity stirred. On Mars, a cavernous hangar the size of a small city echoed with clanging tools and shouted orders. Engineers swarmed over the hull of a warship called the Ironclad, bolting plates of ablative armor, feeding ammunition into its railguns. Sparks rained like fiery snow as welders sealed its titanium ribs. Colonel Isla Ramirez, head of the Martian Defense Corps, walked along the catwalks, her boots ringing against steel. Below her, the ship's crew worked in near silence, save for the rumble of machines. She spoke in her calms. Status of the Leviathan? A deep voice answered from Titan Station. Powering up reactors now. Weapons calibration will take another 48 hours. She'll be ready. Ramirez allowed herself a sharp exhale. The Leviathan was humanity's ace, the dreadnought designed not for intimidation, but annihilation. If Earth was threatened, Leviathan would awaken. And now, the threat was here. In orbit above Luna, Task Force Solaris emerged from shadow. Dozens of frigates and cruisers painted matte black hung in the void, cloaked by reflective panels that bent starlight. Their designs were nothing like the Empire's towering, ceremonial warships. Human ships were compact, brutalist, efficient, floating weapons designed with a single purpose, to kill. Commander Elias Varga watched his fleet from the bridge of the UTS Vigilant. His officers waited for his order. The first Imperial scouts were already entering the system, flickers of alien drive signatures appearing near Neptune's orbit. Stealth drones deployed? Varga asked. Confirmed. Swarms active, replied Lieutenant Rhee, her fingers dancing across the console. Varga allowed himself a grim smile. Good. Let's see how the Empire likes being watched. Hundreds of drones the size of suitcases flitted silently through the void, their stealth plating rendering them almost invisible. They fed streams of data back to human command, mapping the Empire's advance in real time. The first encounter came sooner than expected. An Imperial scout frigate, its hull etched with glowing runes of conquest, glided past Neptune's rings. Its sensors swept lazily, expecting nothing but primitive satellites. Instead, its communications suddenly fractured into static. Screens aboard the alien vessel blinked, scrambled, and went dark. Interference, barked the alien captain. Recalibrate. But before the order could be executed, 3 human strike craft decloaked from the shadows. They fired in unison, kinetic slugs traveling at a fraction of light speed. The slugs ripped through the scout frigate's hull, tearing it open like paper. Atmosphere vented in a glittering stream of frozen corpses. The scout's last transmission carried a note of disbelief. They were waiting for us. Silence followed. Humanity had drawn first blood. In the secret council chambers on Earth, leaders monitored the skirmish with grim satisfaction. President Cross leaned forward as the scout's destruction was confirmed. "That will not go unnoticed," she said. General Kane nodded. "Good. Let them notice. Let them understand Earth will not kneel." Ambassador Liu Mei, ever cautious, added, "The Empire will send more. We cannot reveal everything yet. The Armada must remain hidden until the decisive moment." "And when is that moment?" asked Chancellor Adebayo, his voice heavy with unease. "When they come for Earth," Kane said flatly. "When their arrogance blinds them fully." Meanwhile, the Imperial fleet crossed the threshold of Seoul. Admiral Zyrell received the report of the lost scout with disbelief that quickly turned to rage. "Destroyed? By whom?" "Unclear," a subordinate admitted. "The vessel's logs were corrupted, but the signatures, they were not primitive. They were deliberate." Zyrell's claws scraped against the railing. "Then this world is not as docile as we thought." His eyes narrowed. "All the better. The Emperor enjoys spectacles. Let's show him one." The fleet advanced toward Jupiter, intending to establish a forward base. What they didn't know was that in the asteroid belt nearby, hundreds of human ships lay silent, their reactors cold, their hulls painted black against the void. Like wolves in the dark, waiting to strike. On Titan Station, the Leviathan's heart began to beat. Massive reactors hummed to life, their power rippling through the dreadnought's colossal frame. Engineers watched as systems one by one flickered from red to green. Captain Arjun Singh stood on the Leviathan's bridge, gazing at the stars. "So it begins," he whispered. "Let them come." Outside, the Leviathan's cannons rotated slowly, hungry for a target. The shadows of humanity's armada stretched across the void, unseen yet undeniable. The Empire had come to collect tribute. Instead, it had walked into a trap centuries in the making. The Armada unleashed. The black of space near Jupiter rippled with light. Dozens of alien warships emerged from hyperspace, forming into precise diamond formations. The Imperial fleet stretched across thousands of kilometers, its banners of conquest glowing faintly against the void. At the center was the Dominus Rex, Grand Admiral Zyrell's flagship, a vessel so massive it dwarfed any known human ship. On its bridge, Zyrell's eyes gleamed as he studied the planet's swirling storms. "A fitting graveyard for an upstart species," he said coldly. "Deploy the forward batteries. Let us remind these primitives what it means to defy the Empire." The order rippled across the Armada. Cruisers powered their plasma cannons. Destroyers unfolded their hangars, releasing swarms of attack craft. A tide of firepower assembled, ready to descend on Earth. But then, the void stirred. At first, it was only a flicker, a faint distortion in the asteroid belt beyond Jupiter. Then another, and another. Hundreds. "Contact! Multiple signatures!" an Imperial sensor officer shouted. The darkness peeled back, and the human armada emerged. From behind rocks of frozen stone and iron, ships powered up, engines igniting like sparks in the night. First came the frigates, sleek and angular, their hulls designed to vanish against the void. Then cruisers, bristling with railguns. Then carriers, releasing clouds of drones that spread like a swarm of metallic hornets. And finally, at the center, the Leviathan. The dreadnought's silhouette eclipsed stars. Its armored hull shimmered with layered plating, its cannons the size of skyscrapers. Where the Imperial ships looked ceremonial and grandiose, humanity's vessels looked brutal, efficient, lethal. On the bridge of the Leviathan, Captain Singh stood with his officers. "The Empire thinks us prey," he said, voice steady. "Let's teach them the difference between prey and predator. All ships, execute Wolfpack Doctrine." The battle began. Imperial destroyers opened fire first. Beams of blue plasma streaked across space, slamming into the nearest human frigates. One ship, the UTS Resolute, erupted in flame as its shields collapsed. But humanity struck back with fury. Railguns fired slugs at near-relativistic speeds. They tore through alien hulls with unstoppable momentum, punching holes clean through ships before their captains realized they'd been hit. A squadron of human corvettes darted forward, weaving through the Empire's rigid formations. They struck from below, unleashing barges of missile swarms. Explosions bloomed across an Imperial cruiser, its hull tearing apart in a cascade of fire. From the Dominus Rex, Admiral Zyrel snarled, "Their tactics are chaos. Break formation and crush them." But chaos was the point. Humanity's wolf pack doctrine shattered the Empire's expectations. While alien fleets fought in rigid lines, humanity used speed, unpredictability, and decentralized AI coordination. Small strike groups encircled larger ships, hit-and-run attacks, tearing apart their armor. Every destroyed vessel fed data back into the Armada's network, making the next attack sharper, deadlier. At one flank, Commander Varga's Task Force Solaris executed a feint, drawing Imperial cruisers toward an asteroid cluster. As the aliens pursued, hidden mines detonated, ripping apart their formation. Railgun fire followed, shredding survivors. Meanwhile, the Leviathan advanced. Its forward cannons charged with a deep hum that resonated across the void. On Singh's command, it fired. A tungsten slug, heavier than an aircraft carrier, launched with blinding force. It crossed the distance in seconds and tore an Imperial battleship in half. The wreckage burned like a falling star. The crew of the Leviathan erupted in cheers. Yet victory was not certain. The Empire's superior numbers began to press. Fighters swarmed human carriers, overwhelming point defenses. Several frigates were reduced to debris. An Imperial dreadnought unleashed a gravity lance, bending space itself and crushing 2 human cruisers in a single stroke. On the Leviathan's bridge, alarms blared. "Shields at 60%, an officer shouted. Singh's jaw tightened. "Then we bleed them faster than they bleed us. Redirect power to forward batteries." The Leviathan fired again. This time, it shot past clean through 2 cruisers in a row, splitting them apart like kindling. Inside the Dominus Rex, Admiral Zyrel felt his confidence slipping. He had expected a slaughter. Instead, his forces were locked in a grinding battle, losing ships at a rate that defied reason. "These humans," he hissed, "they're not fighting like primitives. They are fighting like predators." "Admiral," one officer stammered, "we are losing control of the flank." Before he could finish, the Leviathan slug smashed into an Imperial command ship nearby, annihilating it in a blossom of fire. Zyrel's crest twitched violently. His pride burned hotter than fear. "Signal the fleet. All forces converge on that monstrosity. Destroy it." Thousands of plasma beams and missiles converged on the Leviathan. Shields flared, hull plates melted, alarms howled. But the dreadnought endured. Each hit answered with another devastating counterstrike. Smaller human ships swarmed around it, intercepting fire, sacrificing themselves to keep the Titan alive. General Kane, watching the battle from Earth's command bunker, leaned over the holodeck. "Hold, Leviathan. Just hold." The moment was knife's edge. Both sides were bloodied. Both sides were desperate. But humanity's greatest weapon had yet to be unleashed. On the Leviathan, Singh gave the order. "Arm the Nova Cannon." The bridge fell silent. The weapon was untested, its power drawn from collapsing fusion cores. It could vaporize a fleet or destroy the Leviathan itself if it failed. But humanity was out of choices. The massive cannon extended from the ship's forward hull, its energy buildup visible from hundreds of kilometers away. Light gathered, brighter than a star. "All ships," Singh said, voice like steel, "clear the line of fire." As the human fleet peeled back, the Leviathan aimed at the heart of the Empire's formation. The Nova cannon fired. The void itself seemed to tear. tribute reversed. The Nova cannon fired. From the bow of the Leviathan erupted a torrent of pure destruction, a lance of light brighter than a sun, powered by collapsing fusion cores. It crossed the void in seconds, striking the heart of the Imperial formation. The result was apocalyptic. 3 battleships disintegrated instantly, their shields shattering like glass. Dozens of cruisers nearby were torn apart by the shockwave, their hulks colliding into each other in a chain of fiery detonations. For the first time in living memory, an Imperial fleet was not victorious, it was burning. On the Leviathan's bridge, silence fell as the crew watched the devastation. Then a roar of triumph shook the room. Captain Singh's voice cut through the cheers. "Stay sharp. They're not beaten yet." Aboard the Dominus Rex, chaos reigned. Officers shouted over each other, damage reports pouring in. Grand Admiral Zyrell gripped the railing so tightly his claws carved grooves in the metal. "Unacceptable," he snarled. "This world of primitives cannot, must not, humiliate the Empire." But even as he spoke, reality mocked him. His fleet was in tatters. The rigid formations that had crushed countless civilizations were collapsing under human ferocity. Every attempt at regrouping was shredded by wolfpack strikes. Every countermeasure was answered with brutal precision. And always, looming, relentless, the Leviathan advanced, its guns thundering like the judgment of gods. For the first time in centuries, the Empire's warriors felt something alien to them. Fear. Back on Earth, the United Terran Council watched the live feed of the battle. The chamber trembled with emotion. President Cross stood, her fists clenched. "We asked what tribute the Empire demanded," she said, her voice carrying across the room. "Now they have their answer. Our tribute is resistance. Our tribute is fire. Our tribute is the Armada." Applause erupted, not from politics, but from raw survival, from pride born of defiance. Humanity, for the first time, stood united as one world. The battle neared its climax. Imperial survivors tried to retreat toward hyperspace lanes. But human fleets pressed hard, corvettes darting between wrecks to cut off escape. Railguns tore through engines, leaving alien ships dead in the water. Drone swarms picked apart lifeboats and fighters, methodical and merciless. Then came the killing blow. The Leviathan fired one final slug. It streaked through the void and slammed into the Dominus Rex. The flagship shuddered, its proud banners burning away. Explosions crawled across its hull until the great warship split apart in a silent, fiery death. Grand Admiral Zyrell's last thought, as flames consumed him, was disbelief. How could prey become predators? The Empire's fleet was shattered. Survivors fled into the dark, broadcasting garbled distress calls. The Sol system was victorious. Silence returned to space, broken only by the wreckage drifting in Jupiter's orbit. The Leviathan's bridge was a storm of exhausted celebration. Officers embraced, tears streaming freely. Ships across the Armada signaled victory beacons, their hull lights blazing in triumph. Captain Singh allowed himself a rare smile. "Message to Earth. Tell them their Armada has stood the test. Tell them Sol still belongs to humanity." But the story did not end there. In the weeks that followed, news of Earth's defiance spread faster than light. Across the galaxy, enslaved worlds listened in secret to the whispers. The humans fought back. The humans won. On mining colonies where alien slaves had bent under imperial whips for generations, sparks of rebellion flared. On conquered planets whose skies had never known freedom, insurgents painted the word human on walls as a symbol of defiance. The Galactic Empire, once unquestioned, now faced a dangerous truth. Their dominance was not eternal. The myth of invincibility had been shattered, and it was humanity that shattered it. At the United Terran Council, leaders debated the path forward. Some called for striking deep into Imperial territory, to break them while they were weak. Others urged caution, to rebuild and fortify Sol before the Empire retaliated. General Kane leaned forward, his scarred face grim. This was only their first fleet. They will come again, harder, stronger. And when they do, we'll be ready. The Armada will grow. President Cross nodded. Let the galaxy know. Humanity will never pay tribute. Humanity will never kneel. We are not subjects. We are equals or enemies. Her words were broadcast, not just to Earth, but to listening posts across the stars. A message carved into history. On Titan Station, the Leviathan rested, scarred but unbroken. Engineers swarmed over its vast hull, repairing plates and recalibrating weapons. Within its steel heart, Captain Singh stood alone, gazing out into the void. We've shown them we will not bend, he whispered. Now we show them we will not break. He imagined the billions across the galaxy who now looked to humanity as a symbol. Not conquerors, not saviors, but proof that the impossible was possible, that even the smallest world could defy an empire. And somewhere, in the silence of space, Singh swore he could almost hear it, the first cries of rebellion, echoing across the stars. The Empire had demanded tribute. Instead, they had received humanity's deadliest armada, an answer written not in submission, but in fire across the heavens.